Hare Krishna. Hi everyone, welcome.
In this video, we are going to discuss interview questions and answers on Selenium WebDriver. This is a multiple series video sessions. This is a part 1 video. The expectation is that you already know the basic concepts of Selenium so that you can understand the points discussed on these video sessions. Let's start. Let's see the first question. What is automation testing? As we all know that automation testing is a process of testing a software or application using automation testing tools to find the defects. What we do generally in the automation testing? In automation testing, we use a specialized software tools to create scripts that simulate the user interactions with the application. Automation testing can be applied to various type of testing like including smoke, sanity, functional, regression, performance, any other type of testing. The advantage of automation testing that it reduces the manual effort and improve the efficiency by automating the repetitive, everyday routine manual testing activities. Some of the most popular tools to do automation testing are QTP, Silk Test, Selenium, IPM. There's so many tools available in the market. Let us see the next question. What are the benefits of automation testing? This is one of the most commonly asked interview questions in any of the automation testing jobs. Benefits of automation testing include faster and more efficient testing. Generally, automation testing allows tests to be executed quickly and repeatedly, saving time compared to the manual testing. It requires a minimal manual intervention and test scripts can be run unattended. Second benefit is that it improves the accuracy. Automation testing eliminates the human errors that can occur during the manual testing. It results in more reliable and accurate test results. The third benefit is that it increases the test coverage. Automation enables a testing of large number of test cases or scenarios that can be impractical or time-consuming to execute manually on release. Therefore, we use the automation testing to improve the test coverage. The fourth benefit is that it helps to early detect any defect introduced in the system. Automation testing can be integrated into the software development process and it can be run at a nightly build or a daily build or weekly build, enabling the early detection of defects and facilitating the faster bug fixes. The fifth benefit is that it helps in cost saving to the organization. Although there is an upfront investment in automation tools and frameworks, the automation testing can ultimately save the cost by reducing the need for manual testing resources, and also it speeds up the overall testing process. Let us see the next question. What are the challenges and limitations of Selenium WebDriver? As we all know that Selenium WebDriver is a tool that usually automates the browser to mimic the real user interactions on the web application. Selenium is an open source testing tool. There are some challenges exist with the Selenium WebDriver automation tool. The first challenge is that we cannot automate a Windows-based application using Selenium WebDriver. The second challenge is that we cannot test the mobile applications using Selenium WebDriver. Instead, we have to use IPM to test the mobile applications. The third challenge is that Selenium WebDriver doesn't have an inbuilt reporting framework, so we have to use the third-party reporting frameworks like TestNG, Extent Report, and Live Report to generate the automation test reports. Sometimes handling dynamic elements is very difficult in Selenium WebDriver. There are some other challenges like handling a page load is a bit challenging. We have to use the combinations of implicit wait, explicit waits, and fluid waits to handle the synchronization issues, especially in case of ESTJS applications or Ajax applications. Handling a pop-up windows is a bit challenging in Selenium WebDriver, especially when the pop-up window is Windows-based pop-up. In such a scenarios, to handle the Windows-based pop-ups, we need to use the third-party automation tools like AutoIt or Vinium to handle it. The last challenge which we listed here is handling a capture displayed in the application is very difficult in Selenium WebDriver. There are some other challenges like automating the application which contains the graphs, charts, Flex applications is very difficult to handle in Selenium WebDriver. Let's move on to the next question. What are the types of test cases you have automated? This is one of the most commonly asked interview question. Some common type of test case generally we automate includes the test cases that perform the functional testing, regression testing, smoke, sanity testing, GUI and API testing on the application under the test. Let's see what are the scenarios we automate in each type of these testing types. First one is functional testing. As we all know that functional testing is focused on verifying the functionality of the application to ensure that functionality is working fine as expected by the requirements. The type of scenarios these functional test validates are the behavior of the different features, user interactions, business logic and requirement of the application. Next one is the regression test cases. In regression testing, we ensure that the existing functionality is not been affected by the recent changes or update. Automating a regression test case helps to quickly retest the application and identify the unexpected issues which we introduce due to recent code changes in the application. We also automate the integration test cases. Integration testing verifies the interactions between the different components and modules of the application. This helps to ensure that the integration points function correctly and data flows smoothly between the various parts of the system. Let's see what are the scenarios we automate in API testing. As we know, API testing involves the testing of the application program interfaces to ensure that they are working as expected and provide the desired functionality. API test case validate the scenarios like sending a request, validating the response, and ensures just the proper integrations with the external systems. Let's see the scenarios automated in the GUI testing. GUI testing is nothing but graphical user interface testing, which focuses on the testing of the user interface of the application. In this testing, we verify that the UI is consistent, responsive, and functions correctly. We also make sure that all the UI elements are displayed properly and we are able to perform the actions on them, and we can also verify visual outputs after doing that actions on the UI. Next type of testing, we focus on the database testing. Database testing involves validating the integrity, accuracy, and performance of the underlying database. The scenarios include the executing the SQL queries, verifies the data consistency, compare the output with the expected outputs, check the database performance metrics. So last one is performance testing. Performance testing is usually conducted to evaluate the responsiveness, scalability, and performance of the application under test under various load conditions. Automating the performance test cases allows us to simulate the larger user loads, measuring the response times, identifying the potential bottlenecks on the system. Let's move on to the next question. How many test cases you have automated per day? It is one of the most commonly asked Selenium interview question, and it's very tricky interview question. For this question, we have to answer saying that there are a number of test cases that can be automated per day depends on the time required to understand the application, design the test case, develop the automation scripts, and perform the necessary maintenance. Additionally, it is important to ensure that the automation test cases are robust, reliable, and covers the critical functionalities of the application. Finally, we can say that actually it depends on test cases, scenarios, complexity, and the length of the test case. I have automated 2 to 5 test cases per day when the complexity is very less. Sometimes just 1 to 2 test cases per day based on when the complexity is very high. Let's move on to the next question. What is framework? Framework defines a set of rules, best practices that we can follow in a systematic way to achieve the desired results. Framework refers to a structured environment or a platform that provides a set of predefined guidelines, libraries, tools, reusable components to support the development or testing process. There are many different types of frameworks available. The most common are data-driven framework, keyword-driven framework, hybrid testing framework, behavioral-driven frameworks, modular frameworks. Let's see each framework in detail. First one is data-driven testing framework. A data-driven testing framework is a testing approach that separates a test data from the test script. It allows the tester to create an automated test that can be executed with a different set of data, enabling the testing of multiple scenarios without modifying the underlying test logic. In a data-driven testing framework, test scripts are designed to read the input from the external sources such as spreadsheet, database, or CSV files. The test scripts are then executed iteratively each time using a different set of test data. Now let's see the details of keyword-driven testing framework. A keyword-driven testing framework is a automation testing approach that focuses on separating the test steps and test data from underlying automation code. It allows tester to create a test using a set of keywords or actions which are associated with the automation code to perform a set of operations. These test steps are represented by a keyword that describe the desired actions such as click, input, verify, navigate, login. And most of these test cases are created in a tabular formats in the spreadsheet or specialized tools. Keyword-driven testing framework includes a mapping mechanism that associate each keyword with a corresponding automation code. Mapping is done by a separate configuration file or within automation code itself. When executing the test cases, the framework reads the keyword and test data from the spreadsheet, then calls the appropriate automation functions to perform the required actions. Next is the hybrid-driven testing framework. Hybrid-driven testing framework is a combination of multiple testing approaches or frameworks such as data-driven testing framework or keyword-driven testing framework to leverage their respective benefits and create a more flexible and powerful automation testing solution. In a hybrid testing framework, testers integrate different testing techniques and framework to build a robust and comprehensive test suite. Framework is designed to accommodate various testing scenarios, provides the high reusability and offer flexibility in managing the test data and test logic. The next one is a behavior-driven testing framework. It's also called BDD. In Agile software development methodology that focuses on collaboration among the stakeholders, like including developers, testers, business analysts, and customers, BDD aims to align business goals and technical implementation and testing through a clear communication and shared understanding. BDD introduces a common language or a structured format for defining and documenting the expected behavior of the system. It's called as feature files. These feature files typically written in a event-readable format in a jargon syntax, given when then format that facilitates collaboration and clarity with the requirement between all the stakeholders of the Agile teams. Let's move on to the next question. Why framework? A framework supports a structured environment or a platform that provides a set of predefined guidelines, libraries, tools, and reusable components to support the development and testing processes. So basically, a framework defines a set of rules or best practices that we can follow in a systematic way to achieve a desired results. As we are using multiple open source tools like Selenium Java, Extend Report, Alu Report, STNG, Cooper, Apache Py, some other third-party libraries to automate the test cases, a framework enables a tester to create a reusable components, libraries, functions that can be shared across the multiple test cases and projects. This reduces the duplications, improves the maintainability, and enhances efficiency in the script development. Let's move to the next question. What type of test cases to be automated? How do you decide which type of test case we can automate? Let's see the answer for this question. When deciding which test cases to automate, it is important to consider various factors to maximize the value, the return on investments, and also benefits of test automation. Here are some criteria to help to determine which test cases are suitable for automation. We should first consider the test cases which verifies the critical functionality of the application, and also the test case which has high risk areas like finance areas of the application. These test cases ensures that critical features of the software are functioning correctly and reducing the chance of potential failures in the production. Then we need to look for the data-driven test, and we should automate the test cases which has several combination of data to be tested. This can be again achieved using the data-driven test. Then we have to look for the complex test cases and also very time-consuming test cases. We need to automate them. We also need to consider test cases which has repeatable test steps, and also the test cases which are frequently executed like smoke test, sanity test cases, regression test cases, a functional test case. And we should automate the test cases which is part of the smoke suite, sanity suite, and regression suites. Most important is that we should automate only the test cases which have stable and well-defined requirements. If the requirements keep changing during the sprint's development cycle, we should not automate them so that the maintenance cost should not be more doing a rework on those test cases. Let's move on to the next question. What type of test cases should not be automated? While automation can bring numerous benefits to the testing process, there are certain type of test cases which are generally not recommended for the automation. We should not automate the test cases which are part of user interface testing. In user interface testing, as you know that, we generally verifies the UI elements, layout, responsiveness, and overall user experience. Automating UI test may not be accurately capture the human experience and perception. Hence, we should avoid automating UI test cases. And we should not be automating usability test cases. As we know that usability testing focuses on assessing the application's ease of use, intuitiveness, user satisfaction. It involves observing and gathering the feedback from real user, which is more accurate if you perform the manual testing instead of automation testing. We should not be automating the test cases related to exploratory testing or ad hoc testing. This type of testing basically conducted without formal test cases. This testing is unscripted and it involves actively exploring the application to uncover the edge cases and learning about the behavior of the application. And we should not be automating the one-time test cases which are executed only once during the lifetime of the project. Considering the return on investment on the automation effort, we should not be automating the test cases which are having the higher maintenance overhead, especially the test cases which are undergoing the frequent changes. If the requirements itself is not phrased, if it is undergoing the so many changes during the initial development process, those are the not ideal candidate for the automation, considering the amount of effort required to maintain them to keep up with the evolving requirements of the application changes. Let us move on to the next question. What are the advantages of test automation framework? There are many advantages of test automation framework. Let's see a few of them here. First one is the reusability of the code. As you know that in the framework we can create reusable component libraries, functions that can be shared across the multiple projects. Hence, it reduces the duplication, improves the maintainability, and enhances the efficiency of the development. The second advantage of a test automation framework is scalability. A framework provides a structured approach to the entire automation software development. Whenever the application grows, new functionality or features added, we can accommodate those changes with a minimal impact. The third advantage of test automation framework is modularity. The automation framework enforces developers to implement the test cases into smaller manageable components, making them easier to maintain and update. The fourth advantage is ease of maintenance. Whenever there is a change in the requirement of the application or there is a change in the third-party libraries, with the help of framework, we can accommodate the changes by isolating the specific components. The fifth advantage of test automation framework is reporting and logging. Test automation framework often provides an inbuilt reporting and logging capability, which provides a detailed and structured report, captures the test execution results, test coverage, overall health of the test automation run, including the defects logged, failed test, the screenshot of the applications, which can help in better result analysis, defect tracking, and also provide the overall visibility of the testing process to the management. The sixth advantage of test automation framework is cross-browser and cross-platform support. A well-defined automation framework can easily handle same test case can be run in different operating systems and browsers with minimal effort. With the help of automation framework, we can integrate our test case with the CI/CD pipelines. With the help of CI/CD pipelines, we can ensure that our test cases are running consistently, reliably, promoting continuous testing and development. Finally, the eighth advantages of Selenium automation framework is collaboration and standardization. The framework provides a structured approach to the testing, promoting collaboration and standardization among the team members. They establish coding conventions, best practices, guidelines, and ensures the consistency in the test script development. Let's move on to the next question. Have you created any framework? If you are a beginner, fresher, can answer as no. I did not get a chance to create a framework. I have used a framework which is already available, but I have contributed to the minor changes in the framework whenever needed. If you are experienced tester, then you can answer as yes, I have created a framework, or I have involved in the creation of the automation framework.
Thanks for watching.